All right, and we're rolling. How you doing today, John?
Doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Thanks for doing this.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, thank you for the what do you call this?
Passive speaker.
A passive speaker?
Yes.
It's very cool. It's for the audience. It's a little thing made out of wood that you put your phone in, play music, and it makes it louder.
Mm-hmm.
It's so cool. And I'm excited because nobody's ever given me any personally made items like that for the podcast. So
Really?
yeah.
Oh, it's a shame.
So you are the owner of Broken Brain Woodworking.
Correct.
When did you start that?
I had my stroke in 2020, and after about a year of therapy and PT and OT 3 or 4 times a week, I would say probably a little over a year after that, if I had to look at my journal.
Wow. And what is that? Oh, I mean, I think we should go back. Tell me if you can remember. I don't really know what your memory is like, but if you can go back before you had your stroke, what is, like, who are you? Who were you? Like, tell me a little bit about yourself. You from Lansing?
No.
No.
I grew up in a small town called Gaines, about 250 people.
Okay.
I graduated from Durand.
Oh.
I moved from there to the Flint area, and I lived out there for quite a while. And then that's where I started working on cars. I've always been a mechanic. And then I worked my way up to a master mechanic, self-taught through Mercedes-Benz.
Wow.
And I worked there for the last 15 years, or for about 15 years. And then I got bored the last couple of years I was there and taught myself PLC programming and some electrical work. And then I traveled the world working on automated warehouses up until my stroke.
Wow.
And now, since I don't have short-term memory, I teach myself woodworking every day.
Every single day.
Every single day is my first day.
Wow. What is that like? Is it scary? Is it just something you know that you can figure out every day? Like,
I've always been good at figuring stuff out with my hands. My dad says I should have been an engineer, and so I had that going. I've always been working with my hands. And I guess it was my wife that encouraged me. She's like, you need therapy's done. You need to go find something to do. So I went outside and I made her a cutting board, and then she showed it to some friends, and then I made a couple for them. And then it just kind of went from there.
Wow. It's kind of interesting because a lot of you woodworking people have the same kind of story. It always starts with a cutting board.
Mm-hmm.
I had somebody on the podcast before, RP Original. I can't remember his name, but he was on the podcast. It was a long time ago, towards the beginning, and that's what he started with, was cutting boards, and then it just kind of progressed into other things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very cool.
So everything I make, I have to make step-by-step instructions on how to make, or I won't remember how to make it. So even simple things like a cutting board, I have literally step-by-step instructions on measurements, what machines I need to use. If it wasn't a machine before I had my stroke, how to use that machine without cutting my fingers off, how to sand it, everything.
Wow.
Is in different folders for how I make them.
Wow. And that's got to take a lot of time, right? A lot of extra time?
I would say I looked it up. Say that speaker that I gave you today, the first one took me about 3 months to figure out how to make it and make my directions for it. And now I can probably make one in a day,
Wow.
day or two.
Wow.
So
That's crazy.
just find out what you can do, I guess.
That makes it so much more valuable to me, knowing that every single day when you go into your shop, you don't know what you're going to be doing or how to do it, and then you just figure it out.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have my notes, and the good part about it, I guess, is my notes are always changing because I get to look at it with a fresh set of eyes every day.
So you change the way you do it a little bit.
Yeah, like this might make it easier, or I like the way this does it, or the way this looks better. So if you was to look at my notes, they're all crosses. Everything's done in pencil, so
that's smart.
So I can change them.
Do you find that it's therapeutic to woodwork? What's the reasoning behind it? Do you do it just as a way to just keep yourself busy? Obviously, it started with your wife needing you to get out of the house a little bit.
Well, due to my condition, I'm not able to go back to a regular job because I couldn't safely like work on a car because I wouldn't remember where I was at, or if I was working with high voltage electricity,
Mm,
I could kill myself or somebody else not knowing where I was at.
right.
So I wasn't able to go back to a regular job. So this is more one to keep me from going crazy, and then two, it's like my brain therapy every day.
Yeah.
It keeps me my brain active and off the couch.
Where did you come up with the name Broken Brain?
Um, I just kind of figured that it was fitting. It's kind of an homage to my stroke. And then I come up with the logo, and I had my friend Matt make it up for me, and then it just stuck.
That's cool. Wow. And what kind of impact has the business had on your overall health, like your recovery and all that?
I'm thinking it's helping to extend my memory a little bit. I mean, it'll never get like functional.
Never.
No, probably it might get stretched out about a week
Wow.
if I'm lucky, but it'll never get back to normal.
And are you currently still doing like therapy, or is there a
No,
certain kind of cognitive therapy that you could do?
I just do I do this stuff every day. I do luminosity at night.
What's a luminosity?
It's a mind building app
Okay.
for memory and other issues like that, cognitive skills to keep them up and running.
And what kind of things do they have you doing in the app?
Um, well, I can't do the math ones, but a lot of problem solving, figuring out abstract angles, how to get like one object from point A to point B, tracking different objects. There's like 6 or 7 different strategies that they go through a different one every day.
Is it frustrating? Like, is it difficult to solve? Like, what is the feeling you get if it's difficult? Does it?
It would probably be frustrating. The math is the most frustrating because one of my deficits is I can't do math, and I used to be able to do algebra in my head. And now I can't.
Wow.
Now I can't do like 3 plus 3 without a calculator.
Wow.
Because in my head, 3 plus 3 will be 11. But if I actually count it out, it's 6.
Wow.
But the first thing that pops into my head is not 6.
What is that? Like, is it? I mean, obviously, there's some sort of like part of the brain isn't functioning right?
Yeah.
What exactly happens when you have a stroke?
Well, there's 2 types. There's ischemic, which is a blockage. That was the type that I had. And then there's hemorrhagic, which is a blood vessel bursting. So mine was ischemic, which it had a restriction of blood and kind of just, I don't know if it says it destroys the area that it affected, but it changes it where that part of the brain isn't functional, which has snowball effects on other aspects. So since mine was on the right side, I had vision issues and stuff on my left side was affected.
Wow. And so you said you had your stroke in 2020.
Yes.
Right? How long, what was that like? Leading up to it, did you have any symptoms?
No. Well, yes, I had a TIA almost a year before, which is considered a small stroke. Almost exactly a year before. But other than that, no, I had no symptoms. The only thing I remember is I went to work and I wasn't feeling quite right. So I got into my car and apparently drove a couple miles to the store, and I must have figured I couldn't make it. And then I called my wife, and I guess when you have a stroke, you're saying weird stuff and it's hard to communicate. But eventually I got out to her where I was at, and then she called the ambulance, and that's it. Now it's today.
Wow. And so when that happened, how long were you in the hospital for?
According to my journal, I was in there for a good week or 2, and then I was in PT, OT, and speech therapy for I think 3 months, 3 to 4 days a week, pretty much all day, and I had to learn how to walk and talk and eat and everything.
So during that process, do you still have normal thoughts? Like, as in, like, I know I can do this, and it's frustrating that you can't because you're not able to replicate it in physical form.
It is frustrating.
Like, did you have thoughts of knowing that you could do it?
During my stroke?
Like after?
I have no idea.
No.
No.
Or even now, do you have those kind of thoughts? Like if something's difficult and do you feel like you could do it, but you just can't? Like there's something that's stopping you.
I guess it would be day to day. Most days, I'm learning to go with it. So I just go out and I try to figure it out. Or if I'm having a bad day, I just stay out of the shop because a bad day out there can get you hurt.
Right.
And thankfully, according to my journal, there's more good days than bad days.
That's awesome.
Days.
That's awesome.
So
you obviously write a lot of things down.
Mm-hmm.
What is that like? Like, do you journal all day long? Do you just take notes of different things throughout the day? What does that look like for you?
I have 3 journals that I keep. I have one that I read and write in every day. So I spend about 2 hours in the morning reading up what I'll probably go back a month. And then throughout the day, I'll take notes. And then in the evening, after everybody goes to bed, I'll spend about 2 or 3 hours writing it in.
Wow.
And then planning out my next day, like literally step by step, what I need to do, when I need to do it, right down to eating. Because one of my deficits is I don't get hungry ever. So I have to set, that's one of my alarms I have to set.
Wow.
And then I have a monthly journal that I put the big stuff in because you don't want to hear about your friend's dad dying every day.
Right.
And then I have my woodworking journals that I constantly use and upgrade.
Wow.
So it's kind of a part-time job just to keep track of everything.
It sounds like a lot. Like I journal every morning. And that's a lot. Like for me, it takes, a half hour maybe, but I couldn't imagine having a journal like that all day, every day.
That's just part of life now.
Yeah. I mean, there's got to be some benefit to that though. Even though you have deficits, even though it's difficult to do certain things or remember certain things, it's got to like play some sort of impactful, like it has to like have a huge impact on your life as far as like discipline and structure, right?
I would think so.
Yeah. Would you say that you're more structured now than you were before your stroke?
Yes, very much so. I mean, I was always organized. Like when I was a mechanic, everything had to be in its place, put away clean, right where it needs to be, because it was like time is money. And when you're getting paid that way, everything has to be in a certain spot.
Right.
But as for motivating myself to get stuff done, no. I would get it done when I got it done.
Wow. And you were telling me before the podcast that it's even hard for you to remember like your kids and like their faces. You remember them from a couple of years ago.
Yes.
You don't have like present time memory.
No, I do not have any memories of them past 2020. So let's say my son, for example, my oldest, he is going to school for astrophysics.
Wow.
In the aerospace engineering.
Wow.
And in my head, he should be a sophomore. And then my oldest daughter had really short hair, like a pixie cut. Now she has a boyfriend and long hair and looks completely different.
Wow. So are you shocked every time you see them?
Not as much anymore as they used to be. It's I pretty much remember what they look like now, which is better.
That's awesome. So if you have a thing like that where like you remember something a certain way, and then like let's say they came in and you're like, oh okay, do you recognize that? Like, oh okay, I know what's happening here.
Yes. Yep. There are a few things that's been sticking after my stroke. I have a few people that I met afterwards, and I think it's because I see them so often. I'll recognize them when I see them, but it won't be by their name. It'll be by like
association of something.
Yeah, this is the bee people, or this is the tree farm people, or
okay.
And this is the guy with the beard, and I'll know it by seeing them, but I don't know what their names are.
That's got to have some benefit too sometimes.
I mean, I'm just glad to be remembering something.
Right. Now, as far as your woodworking, where do you sell your stuff at? Do you sell them at like local markets, or you sell it online?
Yes, I have my. I'm usually at the Williamston Farmers Market most every Sunday in the spring,
Okay.
and then there's a place called the Hive
Oh
in
yeah,
Williamston. I sell it there, and then I also have my own website, which is brokenrainwoodworking.com.
that's awesome.
That I sell my stuff there also.
That's awesome. Now, I feel like we're kind of bouncing all over the place because I have like so many questions. Like I've never talked to somebody that had a stroke before and had some of the symptoms that you have. Is it common that people who have strokes can recover as much as you have, or are they generally worse off?
I physically, I'm pretty fortunate on the fact that I pretty much came back physically 100%. Mine's
Wow.
mainly mental and cognitive, and which I'm fortunate because I follow a stroke survivors group, and they'll be 6 and 7 years out, and they're just moving their fingers,
Oh wow.
and then they have the full function of their brain, and that's got to be frustrating also because they think they want to be able to do it and they can't physically do it.
Right.
I'm the other way around. I can physically do it, but I can't think the way I should be
Wow.
thinking the way I should be thinking.
Right. Wow. I could see the frustration to both aspects of that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I I get a lot of the well, you don't look like you have a stroke. It's like not all brain injuries look the same.
Right, right. Are strokes hereditary? What are they? Do they run in families?
I
Do you
don't
know?
think so.
No.
I don't know anyone in my family that's had a stroke. Um, my doctors, I think they say it's just something that has to do with, I don't know, the individual person.
Wow. That's that's crazy because there's nothing that really would determine whether or not you would have one, right? Like,
Not really, no. I mean, you can have some underlying factors, I guess, but it's kind of a crapshoot. Uh, Maybe it was part of a bad diet or some other underlying condition, but for the most part, there's not a lot of prediction on um, strokes at
and,
the moment.
and there's really not much you can do to prevent them, right?
If you knew that you had certain things where it would contribute to them, I imagine there would be, but for the most part, strokes kind of just hit out of the blue, I guess,
Yeah,
and there's no real warning.
that's scary. What is the response like with your family? I mean, obviously they're supportive of you and everything. Like, is it's got to be difficult on them too, as well, right?
Oh yeah, it's probably harder on them than it is on me because they carry it from day to day, and I don't. I
Right.
mean, I have a great family. They're supportive in everything I do. Without them, I would not be able to do anything that I'm able to do. So my wife is the rock of the family, and then my kids are all great.
That's awesome. That's super. It's super important to have a supportive family when it times like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, oh, that's got to be so difficult. But I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you made a pretty decent recovery. Um, and you're obviously still not letting it stop you. You're making amazing things. What again is this made out of?
It's made out of wood from two different pianos that are
Okay.
150 years old.
What kind of wood is it?
The outer parts are maple, or walnut, and the center part is maple.
Okay.
Everything I repurpose antique pianos, and I use the wood out of those for everything I make. So,
Oh, you're the guy that does that.
yep. So everything has
Yeah.
part of history in it.
That's why that's okay. So before the podcast, you were like, how did you find me? And that's how I found you. I remember now. I'd seen a story covered by the news, I believe.
Yeah,
That
I looked in. It was Fox 47.
okay,
Did that story.
okay, yeah. So that was like last year, right?
I'm not sure exactly when.
Yeah, it was like it was. I believe it was like a year or two ago, and I seen that story, and I'm like that. I think I intended to reach out to you, and I never did. But I was like, that's really cool. So I started following you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, that's That's the way I do it. I go lug those 900-pound monsters out of someone's house, tear them apart, and turn them into
That's crazy.
beautiful items.
Do people give you the pianos, or do you have to go buy them?
Oh, no, I have a waiting list of people to give them to me.
Really?
Yes, there's no shortage of them.
Really? Wow. I would have never guessed. Pianos are expensive.
Not the old broken ones. Just type in free on Facebook. About 50 of them will show up.
Wow. That's crazy. That's very cool. Very cool and unique. What kind of impact does your business have on people with strokes? Do they find inspiration from what you do?
I would hope so. I want to start making some products that like sell. I'll have stroke awareness products, special cutting boards, and I'll be donating part of that money into the Mary Free Bed.
Oh,
Those are the therapists to help me get back to where I'm at, and it's just my way to give back a little bit.
that's amazing. That's really amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's very cool. I'm excited. I want to check out more of your stuff. What else do you make? What else do you make out of the piano, the refurbished?
I was looking at
Pianos.
it this morning. My Facebook page is kind of my photo diary, so everything I've made is on there, and I go on there and look. And there's been everything since from urns to flags, shelves, wine cabinets. I made a giant live edge desk. A little bit of everything's on there.
I'm sorry. I want to pull it up. Let's see here. Broken brain woodworking.
I'm always trying to create new things. I've made a bunch of wedding ring boxes so people can get engaged with nicer boxes than the ones you get from the store, and
That's cool.
a little bit of everything there.
Yeah. Have you ever done anything with like epoxy?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yep. Usually mainly to fill holes
Okay.
and stuff like that, but nothing real major yet.
Yeah. I made a mantle a couple of years ago. It's upstairs with colored epoxy.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a lot of fun. It turned out pretty nice. I mean, I'm not a professional woodworker like you or anything, but for somebody who didn't know what they were doing, it wasn't bad.
I've used it to make a couple of cribbage boards that had nice little knots and stuff in them, and I filled the knots with it.
Yeah.
But other than big stuff yet, no, I haven't really experimented into that
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah, it's pretty unique. There's a lot of videos and stuff on it. So this is your Facebook, your business Facebook.
Yes.
You have knives, and you made a mitten. What is that? A cutting board?
No, that's a giant sign that I made for the neighbor that wanted a sign to hang on his hunting cabin.
Wow.
And that was made out of flaming box elder.
Okay. Are those wooden knives that you made?
Yes, I make those for weddings. They're functional for the wedding cake ceremonies, and then they can use them afterwards.
Cool. That's really cool.
Challenge coin flags. That one's an urn.
What is an urn? Oh, the red, that one.
The Purple Heart one there.
Oh, okay. Yep.
That was for a young man who was a trucker that passed away, and his family wanted a nice urn for him. So the bottom of that actually is the repurposed trailer bed of the wood from a trailer bed from a track and trailer truck.
Whoa.
And the one right there with the vegetables on it, that was an idea that someone sent me on an email, wanted me to know if I could duplicate it or make my own version. And then the one underneath it is the one that I made.
The charcuterie board? Oh. Let's see here.
Yep, that's my version of it.
Wow. So how do you do that? Do you cut them into strips and then glue them?
Yes. And then I take a router and make a router template for all those little squares, and I hand route them all out and spend hours and hours and hours of sanding.
Wow. That's cool. That's cool. You made a table.
Yep, that's a giant live edge desk.
Wow.
That was my first one of those. Like I asked me if I could make one out of it because it was his grandfather's piece of wood, and I was like, well, I don't know, but we'll find out, and that's what I made.
Wow. That's nice.
And those are the wooden knives.
Where are the knives?
Oh, right there.
Oh, right there. Okay.
And those are functional, so you can use them, then wash them after.
That is cool. Are they actually sharp?
For cakes and pies and soft cheeses, yes.
Very cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm really fascinated by woodworking. I mean, I love doing it. It's therapeutic in a lot of ways. And I mean, I could imagine that for somebody who struggles cognitively to remember things, it's got to be therapeutic too, as well.
Yes, it's relaxing. It keeps me calm.
Yeah, I could imagine.
That's kind of my little sanctuary out there. I probably spend more time than I need to out there, but not so much this time of year. It's a little cold.
Right. Yeah, you were saying you have a wood shop, but it's not insulated. It's just you have a heater, a propane heater?
No, I have a wood stove out there.
A wood stove.
But the barn is not insulated, so I'm in the process of looking for some insulation to get put up in there.
Okay. How big of a barn do you have?
My section of it is about 30 by 40.
Okay.
Or 20. No, let's see. It's 21. So 20 by 30 is the area that I use.
Okay.
Because my wife's got to have her parking spot.
Oh, absolutely. That's cool. Do you do a lot of woodworking for yourself, or do you make anything for yourself, or do you just take orders and then what is your process like? Do you have stock or like?
I do have stock, the stuff that's on my webpage, and then I dedicate a day to just kind of make new stuff. And then I also have big orders that I'm working on now, which is why I took the winter off for craft shows, because I wanted to get caught up on these bigger items that I'm working on now. And then, but yeah, or people will email me and be like, have you made one of these before? And I'll be like, I don't know. So I'll look back and see if I've made one. And if not, I'll be like, well, we can figure it out.
I love that.
So, and I haven't been able to not figure out how to make something yet, as far as I know.
As far as you know. I feel like you could use the whole forgetting thing as like a benefit.
Yeah, don't tell my wife that. She doesn't buy it. She's like, no.
That's funny. I find that super inspiring that you're able to go out to your barn every single day, not remember how to do something, and then just figure it out. Mm-hmm. That's super inspiring. That gives like your business like this backstory that most people don't have.
I always try to be original, I guess.
It's definitely original.
What they don't know is when I go out to other places, the little things like spending 20 minutes looking for the car that I didn't drive there, or looking for the wrong car.
Right. How many craft shows do you do a year?
I'm usually at the Williamston one once a month, and then I do some big art fair ones. I try to do one a month throughout the year, or that's my goal this year, is to do some of the bigger fine art shows, like the Novi Fine Art Show and a few others this year.
That's really cool. What are your goals like for the business? Do you plan on opening like a storefront at some point, or you just plan on continue doing what you're doing?
We just started the webpage, or the webpage store, and that's, I'd kind of like to expand into that, where I don't have to go and pack everything up as much to go to these smaller craft shows, even though I do enjoy them. But it would be nicer to be able to grow that side of it.
Yeah. I mean, everything's online now. Mm-hmm. Like it's almost not even necessary to go to the places like that. I mean, other than the fact that you're going to like a niche market, which obviously that's beneficial, but
Yeah, and it gets me a lot of my custom orders.
Right.
Like they'll see me and like, hey, can you make me a cutting board that's 28 by 40? Like, yeah.
I want you to make me something. I want an American flag that has been it's been like burned, like I think that would be cool to hang in here somewhere. Probably on that wall.
Yeah. Well, before we leave here, we'll get together and work out the details on it.
Okay. Cool. What is the process when somebody wants something custom ordered? They just go to your website and message you
or email me.
Email you.
Email me is probably the easiest way to do it, and then which is just brokenbrainwoodworking@gmail.com.
Okay.
They can contact me through my webpage also.
Cool.
And then I usually will contact them within a couple days if I can, and then get together and see what kind of details I want done into it.
Yeah, that's cool. I like the logo, by the way. It's really cool. Do you burn that in?
Yes. My friend Matt, who's a good friend of mine, they own AC&E Spirit, and they do all my logo work.
Okay.
And my personalization, and I've been friends with them guys for probably 30 years.
That's a legit logo. Like, that looks sweet.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know. I love skulls. Obviously, I have a skull right there with headphones on. But yeah, that's a cool logo. I really like that.
I had a guy that ordered just a giant cutting board, and he wanted my logo just gigantic on it.
Yeah.
Which I made for him.
Yeah, that's cool. That's super cool. I like it. Now you said you're not from Lansing.
No, I live in Williamston.
Okay. How do you like the Lansing area?
I don't mind it at all.
No?
No, it's easy to find your way around, and for the most part, I don't have an issue with being from Flint. Nothing worries me in Lansing.
I don't know. Lansing's kind of getting bad, it seems like.
No.
With some crime. I follow and it might be just the fact that I follow some things that like help accentuate it all. But I follow this. It's called Lansing Most Wanted, and yesterday there was like an armed robbery at the Meyer in Okemos, and then there was another armed robbery I think Leroy's on Cedar. And just like, to me, I'm like, man, this is crazy. But it might just be the fact that I follow these things, and I'm just seeing it more.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, obviously the crime's not as bad as Flint.
Yeah. Flint's not as bad as Detroit. When I first started working as a mechanic in the wintertime, you don't make much money. So I would supplement it by going to Detroit, and I worked at a job where I fixed water main breaks in the winter. And you see some pretty horrible stuff down there.
I could imagine.
In the 3 years I worked down there, I got stabbed twice and shot once.
What?
And I was like, nope, I'm done.
Oh my God. You got shot?
Yeah, I got shot over a bologna sandwich.
What?
Yeah, a guy come up and wanted my sandwich, and I told him to get a job, and he shot me and took my sandwich.
Where'd he shoot you at?
Right in the side.
What'd he shoot you with?
A little 22 short.
Wow.
I spent a couple of weeks in the hospital.
Oh my gosh.
So when I woke up a day and a half later in the hospital, and my boss is there, and I was like, what happened? He's like, you got shot over your sandwich. I was like, I'm not coming back to work.
My name is Lauren Harrington. I'm a real estate agent with Century 21, Lemac Realty. Whether you're looking to buy or sell your home, I can help. From the big cities to the small towns and anything in between, I can make your home buying dreams come true. Come join the Century 21 family. Contact me anytime at 989-534-6430 to begin the process. I look forward to hearing from you.
Sounded good. And then you got stabbed? When did you get stabbed?
So before we could shut the water off, we had to knock on all these crackhead homes and tell them we were shutting the water off, and got stabbed in the leg because they thought it was the landlord shutting off the water, and I got stabbed in the arm for basically the same thing.
Wow.
So I was like, no.
Oh my gosh. That is wild. And how long ago was that?
Oh, back in the 90s.
Okay. Yeah, and it's only probably gotten worse since then as far as crime.
I would imagine so.
Yeah. It's a wild place we live in.
Yes, it is.
This world is crazy.
Try waking up to it new every day.
What's that? Oh, new every day. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah.
I could not even imagine.
Yeah, my last memory of gas prices was $1.86.
Boy, aren't you shocked
My
every time you drive by the gas station.
my wife warns me before I leave.
Just so you know, don't call me when you see that it's 3 something.
Yeah, I'm gonna go put $20 in gas. Well, you might want to take a 50.
Oh, that is funny. It's got to be kind of comical. I mean, that you are able to kind of laugh about it and like kind of like because you know that you can't remember. You know, it's not like this huge ailment for you, which it is, but it's not like something that is stopping you. So it's got to be, it's got to be kind of therapeutic knowing that you can kind of laugh at yourself, right?
Some days.
Some days.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure my family gets tired of me going, "Oh, there's a new building right there." How long has that been there? Years.
Yeah, I could imagine. It does get frustrating, but I guess in the same sense, like, I mean, what can you do?
I mean, it could be worse. I could be lying in bed drinking out of a straw. So
Right.
I'm fortunate.
Yeah, absolutely. What kind of things do you find that you can do now that you weren't able to do at like after first having the stroke?
Probably organizing my time. That's probably the biggest thing I've gained. A little more patience, but I think sometimes my family would disagree with that. Not a whole lot. You just do what you gotta do and keep moving on.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I love that. It's an inspiring story because most people, I mean, not most people, I don't want to say most people, but like a lot of people in situations like that, they want to allow their circumstances to define who they are. They want to allow what happened to them. They want to be a victim of it, or they want a way for people to just kind of feel bad for them, or woe is me, I'm not able to do that because I have this issue. And I find it super inspiring that you don't allow that to stop you. You get up every single day. You take accountability for your life because you journal multiple times a day just to make sure you stay on track. And then you go out and woodwork, and it's the first time you do it every single day.
I mean, going back to what you just said, I wasn't always as empathetic towards. I was kind of one of those people like, man, why are they on disability? They look fine. And now I'm a little more empathetic towards the way things are now. So it did make a big change in that aspect.
So it changed the way you thought about other people, and
yeah, there'll be a little more open-minded on what it means to be disabled, or because I always thought like if you're on disability, you're just reaching for a paycheck,
right?
And now that I'm on it, it's different. It's still hard for me to accept because I never liked handouts, and I just still don't like the fact that I'm on it. That's why I do this more on the side. And then, but I understand now that it's actually needed a lot more than people realize.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there was definitely like this huge stigma for people that were taking advantage of the system, right? People abusing it. And you could openly see it, where people just didn't want to work. But there's definitely the people also that, struggle. There's people like you, they look fine. They sound fine. Like I guarantee you most of the people that will listen to this will be like, he seems fine. But there are people like that, and there's a lot of people that do need it. Like I have a special needs brother, and he's on disability, but if you sat and talked to him, like he seems normal, but he's definitely not. He has a huge learning disability, and he's developmentally a lot younger than what he actually is. So I don't know. I understand what you're saying, and it's awesome that you're able to kind of come full circle a little bit and have empathy for those kind of people.
I agree.
Yeah. So I guess it made you a better person.
I don't know. I don't think I'm doing anything special, but
You
apparently,
you say that. You say that you don't think you're doing anything special, but really it is. It's remarkable that you're not letting it stop you from doing what you actually want to do.
I guess it's my dad taught me early to be self-reliant, and not like in a bad way. He's like, you need to figure it out. You need to work. You need to provide for your family when you're not, and be responsible. And it just stuck.
Yeah. Yeah, and it does something to you, even if you're not able to provide for your family, but you're just doing something that is therapeutic in a sense, like woodworking. It's helping you in the long run. I mean, I'm sure some days you don't feel like doing it, but by doing it, by taking those active steps and going out into the woodworking shop and just working, like it does something for your mood. It does something for who you are as a person. It makes you a better person because you accomplished something.
Mm-hmm. Even if it's just maybe helping somebody else out now that has had a stroke, and they're the ones that are struggling. Like, this is my first time I moved my pinky in a month and a half. Well, I'm there to show you that you can get better if you just keep working your butt off for it.
Right.
Because I spent a lot of time learning how to walk and pretty much everything all over again, and I still keep my last cane hanging above my workbench, and that's kind of my, like, I'm not going back there.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. It's important to have those things that keep you going daily, day in and day out, because I mean, I'm sure even for you, obviously for you, it's easy to forget, right? It's easy to forget where you came from. I don't mean to make fun of you. I'm not.
No, you're not.
But it is easy. Like for me, it's easy to like forget. Like, oh well, you need to make the best of today or the most of today, and just to kind of go about life. It's so easy to just forget. Obviously, for some, it's easier, but yeah. So it's good to have those reminders.
Yeah, it'll be like if my wife ever gets tired of it, all she's really got to do is keep me away from my shop for a week and clean it out and hide all my notes, and I'd have no idea I was a woodworker.
Oh my gosh. That would be so scary, knowing that somebody has that power over you.
I would just find some other way to annoy her.
She would quickly bring it back, I'm sure.
Yeah. She's like, go back outside.
Oh, that's so funny. That is hilarious. It'd be interesting to hear your wife's perspective of all this, what it's like for her.
I can ask her if she wants to come talk to you.
Yeah.
But, I mean, she is the one that keeps everything going. She keeps track of everything. And I definitely couldn't do what I do without her. I mean, she keeps track of everything. I don't know how she does it. I think she's got it harder than I do. She has to keep track of all the meds and all the appointments and all the things going on with her kid, all four of our kids, and then things that I need, things that she needs. She amazes me every day.
That's amazing. And I'm sure it's overwhelming, but obviously she has a reason to do it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, she loves me. I love her. She has a good church that keeps her grounded, and she really enjoys going there.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Is there anything else you want to promote on the podcast or talk about? I feel like we still got 20 minutes. We can go for 20 more minutes, can't we?
Yeah, I guess so. Just get the word out about my website. I'm really trying to get it up and running. There's not a lot on there at the moment, but it's one of those works in progress.
Yeah. Did you build the website yourself, or did you hire somebody to do the?
My wife's doing it.
Your wife's doing it.
Yeah. So I'm teaching myself woodworker, and she's kind of teaching herself how to run the web page, because I wouldn't remember how to. I've never been a computer guy.
I just recently built a website for my clothing line, and it was difficult. I mean, it wasn't like super difficult because I grew up in the era with like MySpace and whatnot. And MySpace, you could customize your like profile and whatnot. And so building the website was kind of like that for me. Mm-hmm. But the hard part is like the SEO and trying to figure out how to like make a Google's like top ranked page or whatever, and for me, that's the difficult part.
Yeah. I mean, fortunately, my friend Matt that does all my laser work, he's one of the heads at the IT department at MSU. That's his job. He helps run the IT for the college. Wow. So she always has that backup where he can help her out when it gets tough.
It's good to have friends like that.
Yes, yes, it is. It's like me, I have a hard time finding my email.
I have a friend that he's like this car guy. He's a car guru. And anytime there's an issue with my car, I call him, and I'm sure he gets annoyed by it, but it's good to have people like that in your life who you could just call upon.
Yep, I'm that guy in my family. I still get calls like, "Hey, what do you think this is?" It's like, I think you need to take it to a dealer, especially with the new ones.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy like how much the vehicles have changed.
Oh yeah, I was the electrical specialist, so I had to deal with all the nightmares.
And it only got worse over the years, right? Like with the electrical side of it, because there's just more and more. Everything's turning electric.
Yep. So being with Mercedes, their cars are about 10 years before what the new stuff comes out with. So now all these cars are self-parking and stuff like that. And I was working on them 10 years ago and they were the same. They had them back then.
Wow.
So we had to figure out how to, I don't know, the first time you use something like adaptive cruise where it keeps that distance between you and the car in front of you, you're just holding your foot by the brake. Like, I don't know if I'm going to trust this thing or not.
It's so true. I drove a car that had the lane assist. It had everything. It was a rental car from here to Florida, and it was nice. But it was one of those things where I'm like, I don't trust it. I think a lot of people rely on that kind of stuff, and then that's when you see like a Tesla underneath a semi.
I mean, they're not supposed to do that, but you never know. Everything can twitch out.
Do you find being an electrical technician? Do you that you did that you did that? Do you find that it is concerning that we're going fully electric and moving in that direction?
I think it has its good and bads. I think that the smart technology is fine, but we don't have the infrastructure to back it up yet.
Right. Yeah, that seems to be the common thought on that.
Yeah.
But as far as like the technology aspect of in the vehicle itself, like relying on the vehicle to drive, relying on it to switch lanes and park, like do you see that there would be a lot of room for it to mess up or glitch out?
I'm not an engineer, but I don't personally care for that type of thing. That's why I'm still working on my old 80s truck and keeping that up and running.
Yeah. I mean, and they work great.
Mm-hmm.
The older vehicles work great. Yeah, I find it difficult to want to fully invest into the electric vehicles.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would like to. No. I like the sound of a good carburetor.
Yeah.
Or doing a burnout, the good stuff.
Absolutely.
Being a car guy my whole life, that's, you got to love that.
Yeah, and you grew up probably with the classics too, like a lot of like the sought after cars now.
Yeah, my dad always had cars with big engines in them.
Yeah.
I actually have a square body truck, which is the same year and body style and color as the one I grew up driving.
Oh, so cool.
I'm currently building a 468 for that one.
Wow.
So Prius people are going to hate me because I'm going to have a license plate that says 0 MPG.
Did you see that Michigan crackdown on license plates recently?
Mm-mm.
No. So they made like certain license plates illegal to get, like see ya. You can't get that one.
No, really?
Yeah, there's some other ones too. I can't remember what they were. But yeah.
I hope mine isn't one of those when I get around to doing it. Because when I had the 350 in it, and I got like 8 miles a gallon.
Oh my gosh.
And that one was 300 horse, and the one I'm building about 600 horse.
Wow.
I'm building now, so.
Wow. And what do you plan on doing with it? Just drive?
Daily driver.
Yeah? Yep. Wow. What year is it?
86.
86.
Well, most of it's an 86. It's kind of a hodgepodge. It's 86 body and then 74 frame and axles. And
I want to look that up. 80.
It's an 86 K20.
I love old cars. I like to watch Gas Monkey Garage. I watch that a lot.
Mhm.
My kids love it, and my wife hates it because I always want a classic car.
They're easy to work on.
Yeah. What year was it?
86
86.
K20 4x.
Oh yeah. That is sweet.
Yeah, mine's lifted and manual, everything.
Wow. Oh yeah. What color is it?
Almost like that blue one and third from the right.
This one?
Yep. A little more Smurfy colored mine is.
Okay.
But yeah, it looks pretty much similar to that one.
Yeah, that is sweet.
Except for that one's chrome. I painted everything black on mine.
Yeah, that would be sick.
It's a work in progress.
That's cool. How long do you anticipate it taking till you're done with it?
Well, my son and I started building the motor before my stroke, so that's taken longer than we wanted. But it should be ready by this spring to be put back in.
Oh, sweet.
And then that'll be behind my booth in all my craft shows.
Oh yeah, that'd be sweet. Put your logo on the back,
Oh, yeah.
in the back window.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's the plan. This guy driving around is my advertising car.
Yeah. That's cool. Jeez, that's really cool. And obviously, that's another hobby you still have that helps keep you going.
Yep. My daughter, that's like 4 foot tall. She wants to drive it to prom next year, so that's kind of a goal I got to have done. Unfortunately, I got to put different seats in it because being a stick shift and her being so small, when I get it far enough forward to reach the clutch, you can't shift it in the second. It's got a bench seat in it, so
yeah.
I need to put bucket seats in for it.
That'll make it a little bit more comfortable too.
Yeah, I think I'll put some nice cushy seats in it.
Yeah.
So I'm getting old. I want some comfort items in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, John, this was a lot of fun. It's been an honor talking with you, and it's crazy. Your story is crazy that you're able to do what you do daily, and I find it super inspiring. Especially somebody who like strives to be better every single day and find a reason to be better. Because sometimes it's so difficult to want to be motivated. It's difficult to want to just get up and go about my daily routine, the things that I know that would keep me going every single day, like working out and like doing my morning routine, writing, journaling, reading, all those things. But then like hearing a story like yours where like you have to do those things or you have to do specific things in order to just like have a normal day. I find that inspiring, and I find it inspiring that you didn't give up and you're continuing to go and make your life better.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely. So thanks again for doing this. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing what else you build and or make, and I want to definitely check out your store.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, and your website and your social media will all be in the links in the show notes.
Yeah, because I have Facebook, Instagram, and my website.
Cool. All right, awesome. It'll be in there. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.